everybody, I'm Ajita Jagannathan and I'm going to teach you on how to print a line onto your screen using C++. So to start off with, you have to download a C++ IDE which has the compiler for compiling the program. So the IDE which I'm going to use is dev C++. You can download it online, and once you double click on the icon you get into such a page, and for your first file you just have to press Ctrl N. Upon clicking you get such a layout. So to start off with, I use the header file which is hash include iostream. Here any line beginning with a hash over here, the preprocessor is going to process this line and import certain code from C++ which enables us to perform the input-output operations. So this is why we're going to use it. We're going to use this for every single program, so remember this header file. The next one is using namespace std. So using namespace is like a function. So this again helps us in presenting the output to the user by using this function. So to start off now with the main function, int main. So don't forget these two lines have to be included for every program, so please remember this. After which we use int main. So int main is like the main function. So int is like the return type. Like once the function is done, after I write all the lines of code, it has to return a certain value. So the value which is to be returned is specified here. It is an integer, and main, so it refers to the main function. And these are just two brackets. So to start off with a function, you're supposed to open with the curly braces. And now over here I'm going to type in the details of my function, like on what my function is going to do. So we wanted to print a line onto the screen, so we use cout. Cout is a function which is used to print anything onto the screen. So you have to use the two angular brackets like this, cout followed by two angular brackets, and then we use the double quotes. Within the double quotes, whatever we present, that is going to be displayed as the output. So after cout, remember these two double angular brackets and these double quotes. And here I'm going to say my first C++ program. Okay, and to end off with this line we have to use a semicolon. Remember I had told you using namespace std helps in presenting the output, and even hash include iostream helps in doing the input-output stuff. So what's the difference? So when we're using namespace std, we don't have to do something like std double colon like this next to cout. So if we just use a cout, it's enough. So it's like, you know, lesser typing, which is what we all like. So cout, my first C++ program, this is going to be displayed. After which I do a return 0. Now why am I doing this return 0? Because of the function. Remember I told you it's going to return an integer value. So after this it's going to return a 0. Now to compile the code and execute it, I have to Ctrl S it, that is save it. So I have to save it in any folder. So over here I'm going to give it as hello.cpp. .cpp is the extension which we use for C++, and I save it. Okay, and now I can execute it by pressing F11. So when I press F11, okay, processing, no errors, and my first C++ program. Yeah, that's it, we're done. And suppose I have an error, like suppose we might forget to put the semicolon here, and if I'm going to Ctrl S it and if I compile it now, it will give you an error, expected semicolon before return. So these errors are pretty easy to debug because it tells you which line, which column, and what the error is. So you can easily put the semicolon, Ctrl S it, and F11. Here you go, my first C++ program. And this is how you print your first line onto the screen. Thank you.